Beneath the sands of Pakistan and northwest India lie the silent ruins of a world that once rivaled ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia. Cities planned with mathematical precision, streets laid out in perfect grids, underground drainage systems more advanced than many found even centuries later. And yet, one day, they were gone. No epic war recorded their downfall, no volcanic ash buried their streets. The mighty Indus Valley Civilization, one of the earliest and most advanced societies in human history, simply vanished. Who were these mysterious people who mastered urban planning before the wheel was even perfected? What force could erase an entire civilization without a trace, leaving behind only cryptic seals, unfinished walls, and whispers of a lost language no one can still read? Some say climate change turned their fertile lands into barren deserts. Others claim massive earthquakes shifted rivers, destroying their lifeline. And some believe the Indus people were forced to flee something far more sinister, something ancient humanity could never explain. Tonight, we journey deep into the ruins of Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa to uncover the truth behind one of history's greatest enigmas, the sudden disappearance of the Indus Valley Civilization. 4,000 years ago, along the mighty Indus River, a civilization flourished, sophisticated, organized, and surprisingly modern. They built cities with brick homes, multi-level structures, and drainage systems that wouldn't be seen again until Rome. Their trade reached Mesopotamia. Their artisans shaped exquisite jewelry, and their rulers, if they had any, remained invisible in their humility. No temples, no palaces, no weapons of mass warfare. Just peace, prosperity, and progress. And then, around 1900 BCE, it all collapsed. Within a few generations, the cities fell silent. The people vanished. No monuments, no tombs, no clues explaining what truly happened. But recent discoveries, climate data, satellite imagery, and newly excavated sites are painting a chilling picture of what might have brought down this peaceful giant of the ancient world. Before we uncover the truth buried beneath time itself, make sure you subscribe to History Vault. Join us as we journey through lost worlds, forgotten empires, and unsolved mysteries that still haunt humanity. It all began over 5,000 years ago, when the world's first civilizations were only beginning to take shape along great rivers. While the Egyptians raised a pyramid along the Nile, and the Sumerians carved their cuneiform into clay by the Euphrates, a new world emerged far to the east, quietly, deliberately, and with astonishing brilliance, along the mighty Indus River. This was no mere cluster of villages. It was the rise of one of humanity's most advanced, yet least understood civilizations, the Indus Valley Civilization. Stretching across what is now Pakistan, northwest India, and parts of Afghanistan, the Indus Valley covered an area of more than 1.25 million square kilometers, larger than ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia combined. It wasn't a kingdom ruled by one monarch, but a network of over 1,000 cities and settlements, all mysteriously unified by architecture, culture, and technology. How did people living over such vast distances build cities that look almost identical, brick by brick, with near perfect uniformity? Take Mohenjo-Daro, the Mound of the Dead, a city that once stood tall on the banks of the Indus River. Its streets were laid out with mathematical precision, intersecting at right angles. Two-story houses built from baked bricks lined the roads, each with its own private well, bathroom, and an ingenious drainage system that ran beneath the streets. Archaeologists found covered sewers, access points for cleaning, and wastewater channeled away from homes, an engineering marvel unmatched until modern times. Then there was Harappa, hundreds of kilometers away, built with the same architectural genius. Standardized brick sizes, identical weights and measures, and uniform urban grids across thousands of miles suggest not chaos, but meticulous planning. Yet, no single ruler's name has ever been found. No statues of kings, no royal tombs, no inscription proclaiming divine authority. The Indus world seems to have flourished without the tyranny of crowns or empires. Was it a collective civilization governed by councils or guilds? Or something even more mysterious, an ancient society that transcended the concept of centralized power altogether? Inside these cities, life was remarkably organized. Evidence shows thriving trade, both local and international. Indus seals, Tiny square stones engraved with animals and undeciphered symbols have been discovered as far away as Mesopotamia. This means the Indus people traded goods like cotton, ivory, beads, and precious stones across oceans and deserts, creating one of the earliest global economies. Their port city of Lothal, built near the Arabian Sea, had what some historians call the world's first dockyard, an astonishing engineering feat that connected river and sea for maritime trade. But the most haunting legacy of the Indus people is their writing. Hundreds of seals have been found, each carved with strange pictograms, fish-like shapes, tridents, human figures, and animals. These symbols, numbering around 400, form what could be one of humanity's oldest scripts. Yet, no one has ever deciphered it. For over a century, scholars have tried to decode what these seals mean. Are they names, titles, records of trade, or perhaps prayers to unknown gods? The silence of these stones hides 1,000 stories, forever locked away in symbols we can see but cannot understand. Religion in the Indus world, too, is wrapped in mystery. Unlike the towering temples of Egypt or the ziggurats of Mesopotamia, no grand shrines have been found here. Instead, archaeologists have uncovered small figurines, mostly of a female deity, possibly representing fertility or nature. Some seals depict what looks like a horned god seated in a yogic posture, surrounded by animals, a figure eerily similar to the later Hindu deity Shiva in his form as Peshupati, the lord of beasts. Could it be that the spiritual roots of the Indian subcontinent began here, thousands of years before written history? But what truly set the Indus Valley apart was its apparent devotion to peace and order. Across all major sites, archaeologists found no large-scale weapons, no evidence of warfare or conquest. Unlike the empires that followed, the Indus people seemed to build not for domination, but for harmony. Their society may have functioned on trade, cooperation, and shared prosperity rather than bloodshed and fear. And yet, even in their perfection, there were shadows. Beneath their ordered streets and standardized bricks lay signs of growing strain. Some neighborhoods show hasty reconstruction, walls built over drains, rooms reproposed, systems breaking down. Perhaps their balance with nature was already faltering, though they couldn't yet see it. The Indus River that gave them life could also turn against them. Floods were frequent. Climate was unpredictable. And a civilization so reliant on the rhythm of water was always at the mercy of its flow. Still, for over 1,000 years, they endured, masters of architecture, hygiene, and trade, centuries ahead of their time. They built with logic and precision unmatched by their contemporaries. They connected thousands of settlements without the need for conquests or monuments of power. In many ways, they represent humanity's first true experiment in urban democracy. But then, around 1900 BCE, something began to change. Trade declined. Cities were abandoned. The once great centers of Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa fell silent. The seals stopped being carved. The script was forgotten. The people disappeared. What could erase such an advanced and peaceful civilization from the pages of history so completely? Was it nature's wrath, a changing climate, shifting rivers, or endless floods? Or something deeper, disease, famine, perhaps even internal collapse? Whatever the reason, the silence that followed was deafening. The Indus Valley Civilization rose like a miracle of human intellect and vanished like a ghost swallowed by time. And as archaeologists dig deeper into its remains, one chilling question continues to echo across the ruins. How can a civilization so advanced simply disappear? The story of the Indus Valley Civilization is not one of sudden destruction, but of slow, creeping silence. Like a candle flickering before it dies, its brilliance dimmed gradually, almost imperceptibly, until one day the flame was gone. Around 1900 BCE, the great cities of Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa began to fall apart, not in war, not in rebellion, but in quiet abandonment. Streets that once echoed with the footsteps of merchants and craftsmen grew empty. The advanced drainage systems that once symbolized their mastery over engineering clogged and filled with silt. The order that had defined this world began to unravel. But the question that has haunted historians for nearly a century remains. Why? At first glance, there were no invaders, no charred ruins, no mass graves that could mark a violent end. The decline of the Indus Valley seemed to have no single cause, only fragments of a larger, more complex mystery. Yet, As modern science began to peel back the layers of time, a chilling narrative started to emerge. The world of the Indus people may have been undone by the very force that had once made it thrive, nature itself. The Indus River was the civilization's lifeblood. Every settlement, from the grand cities to the smallest villages, depended on its rhythm. But over centuries, subtle shifts in the Earth's crust and the changing of climate began to reshape that rhythm. Geological studies reveal that the region was struck by a series of massive tectonic shifts, earthquakes that may have altered the course of rivers. One of these was the Saraswati, a river long celebrated in ancient Indian texts as mighty and sacred. Today, it exists only in legend. But satellite imagery reveals its ancient dry bed, evidence that it once flowed strong before vanishing completely. If the Saraswati once nourished dozens of Indus settlements, its disappearance would have been catastrophic. Imagine an entire civilization losing its water source within decades. Croplands would have withered, livestock would have perished, trade routes would have dried up, literally. A people once surrounded by abundance would have been forced to choose, stay and die, or leave everything behind. Climate evidence paints an even darker picture. Core samples taken from ancient lake beds and seabeds in the region show that around the same time, monsoon patterns drastically weakened. The rains that once flooded the Indus plains with fertility began to fail. Decade after decade, drought tightened its grip. Wells dried. Fields turned to dust. The once green river basin slowly transformed into a barren wasteland. But nature wasn't done with them yet. In other regions, signs of devastating floods have been found. Layers of sediment buried the lower levels of Mohenjo-Daro, indicating that the city was repeatedly hit by massive floods, perhaps caused by glacial melt from the Himalayas or the erratic behavior of the Indus River itself. The people rebuilt again and again, clinging to survival, refusing to abandon their home. But eventually, nature's fury became too relentless to endure. Archaeologists have found ghostly clues of this struggle in the ruins. In some areas, drainage systems appear hastily repaired, walls reinforced without care. In others, evidence suggests overcrowding, as refugees from smaller, abandoned towns flooded into the larger cities seeking safety. The population may have grown beyond what the failing ecosystem could support. Food shortages would have become common. Sanitation systems, once symbols of their advanced society, turned into breeding grounds of disease. One theory suggests that epidemics could have spread through the dense urban centers. The combination of stagnant water, decaying infrastructure, and malnutrition created perfect conditions for deadly outbreaks. For a civilization so reliant on community and cleanliness, such invisible enemies would have been devastating. Still, the Indus people did not vanish overnight. Instead, they adapted. As the mighty cities declined, the population slowly migrated eastward toward the fertile plains of the Ganges River. There, smaller settlements began to appear, simpler, less organized, but bearing faint echoes of their former glory. The standardized bricks disappeared, the complex urban planning faded, but fragments of their cultural DNA lived on. Some of the tools, pottery designs, and even ritual symbols from later Vedic cultures resemble those of the Indus Valley, hinting that their spirit survived through transformation. But there are still pieces of this puzzle that defy logic. Why did the script disappear completely? Why did they abandon technologies that had taken centuries to perfect? And if the climate and rivers were to blame, why didn't they rebuild elsewhere with the same brilliance? Some researchers have dared to suggest more controversial explanations. A few point to possible invasions, not of destruction, but displacement. Around the same time, Indo-Aryan tribes began migrating into the subcontinent. While there is no evidence of direct conflict, the arrival of new cultures could have disrupted trade, traditions, and the fragile balance of the Indus cities. Over time, the Indus way of life may have simply dissolved into the new cultural order, its people absorbed, their language and identity lost assimilation. Others hint at something more cosmic, a changing Earth. Around 2000 BCE, the planet entered a period of climatic instability that affected civilizations across the globe. The Akkadian Empire fell in Mesopotamia. Egypt's old kingdom crumbled. Massive droughts reshaped entire continents. Perhaps the Indus Valley was another casualty of this global upheaval, a silent victim of planetary change. What makes their collapse so haunting is its quietness. No great wars, no conquests, no written cries for help. just a slow fading, as if the civilization itself chose to step back from history. To this day, archaeologists find unfinished projects, walls half-built, artifacts abandoned mid-use, streets left in eerie stillness. It's as if one morning, the people simply walked away. The more we uncover, the more the mystery deepens. Was it a natural disaster? Environmental collapse? Disease? Or did the Indus people foresee something coming? Something so catastrophic they left behind everything they built, retreating into oblivion? One thing is certain. What ended was not just a civilization. It was an idea, a dream of humanity in harmony with nature, of cities without kings, of order without oppression. And when that dream fell, it left behind ruins that whisper not of war and fire, but of silence and loss. The Indus Valley's decline was not the sound of thunder. It was a soft hush of a civilization breathing its last, swallowed slowly by the earth it once tamed. And as centuries passed, the wind covered its streets, the sand buried its secrets, and the world forgot that such a people had ever existed. For nearly 4,000 years, the Indus Valley Civilization slept beneath layers of earth, its memory erased from human consciousness. Empires rose and fell, Persian, Mauryan, Mughal, British, but none knew that beneath their feet lay the remains of one of the world's first great urban societies. It wasn't until the 1920s that a few curious archaeologists, digging near the dusty plains of modern-day Pakistan, stumbled upon strange baked bricks arranged in perfect order. What they uncovered would rewrite the history of civilization itself. The discovery of Harappa in 1921 and Mohenjo-Daro a year later stunned the world. The findings were not primitive villages, but advanced metropolises planned with precision, complete with organized streets, sewage systems, public baths, and vast granaries. The world suddenly realized that long before Rome, long before Athens, long before even the rise of the pharaoh's new kingdom, there existed a people whose knowledge of engineering, hygiene, and social organization rivaled anything known to humankind. And yet, even as their ruins were revealed, their identity remained hidden. No written texts, no kings, no legends passed down through millennia. It was as if a whole civilization had lived and died in silence. Who were these people? What language did they speak? What gods did they worship? The greatest mystery of the Indus Valley is their script, hundreds of tiny symbols carved into stone seals, pottery, and metal. Despite decades of study, no one has been able to decipher them. Some experts believe the symbols represent a language unrelated to any known linguistic family. Others think they were purely pictorial, more a series of clan marks or trade emblems in a script. Without a Rosetta Stone to compare it to, the Indus script remains locked in time, guarding its secrets like a code that refuses to be broken. And what of their rulers? Their armies? Their monuments? Unlike the civilizations of Egypt or Mesopotamia, the Indus people left behind no evidence of warfare, no great temples to their gods, no colossal statues proclaiming the glory of kings. Instead, their cities speak of equality, houses of similar size, neighborhoods planned with precision, and communal facilities like the Great Bath of Mohenjo-Daro. It suggests a society without tyrant or slaves, one that valued balance over hierarchy. Could it be that the Indus Valley represented an entirely different model of civilization, one not driven by conquest or greed, but by order, community, and sustainability? If so, then its disappearance was not only a loss of people, but a loss of an idea far ahead of its time. Archaeologists and scientists have pieced together fragments of their world, trying to reconstruct a picture of how they lived. The Indus people were farmers, traders, artisans, and engineers. They cultivated wheat, barley, peas, and cotton, the earliest known use of the crop in the world. They traded with distant Mesopotamia, exchanging gold, ivory, and spices for metals and textiles. Their cities functioned like clockwork, powered not by kings, but by systems that worked flawlessly for over 1,000 years. But the more we learn, the more questions arise. When their civilization collapsed, where did its people go? Did they simply vanish, or did they merge into the cultures that came after? Many scholars believe that as the Indus cities declined, their population migrated eastward toward the fertile plains of the Ganges. Over time, their descendants may have mingled with new peoples entering the subcontinent, the Indo-Aryans, forming the cultural foundation of later Indian civilization. If this is true, then echoes of the Indus Valley live on today in South Asia's languages, traditions, and spiritual beliefs. The concept of ritual purity, the reverence for water, the worship of fertility goddesses and horned deities, all bear a striking resemblance to Indus-era practices. But there's also a more haunting possibility that the Indus Valley Civilization truly did end, not in transformation, but in extinction, that their language died with them, that their knowledge, their systems, their wisdom simply vanished, leaving the world to rediscover everything centuries later. Could their silence be a warning, a message written not in words, but in ruins? In recent years, technology has breathed new life into the study of the Indus Valley. High-resolution satellite imagery reveals traces of ancient riverbeds, helping scientists reconstruct the vanished landscapes they once called home. Excavations in sites like Rakhigarhi and Dalavira continue to unearth new evidence, skeletons, artifacts, and entire city layouts preserved beneath time's weight. DNA analysis has begun to trace the genetic heritage of the Indus people, linking them to modern South Asian populations, suggesting their legacy may still run in the blood of millions today. But even as science advances, the civilization remains shrouded in mystery. Every discovery answers one question and opens 10 more. Why were their cities abandoned so peacefully? Why did they never build temples or royal palaces? Why was their script so short, so compact, almost as if it was never meant to be read aloud? Some fringe theories go further, claiming the Indus people possess forgotten knowledge of astronomy, geometry, and hydrology far beyond their time. Others speculate that the Great Bath of Mohenjo-Daro was not just a place of ritual cleansing, but perhaps part of a larger spiritual or even scientific system we can no longer comprehend. There are even whispers, often dismissed by mainstream scholars, of energy lines and electromagnetic anomalies surrounding certain ruins. Whether science or myth, the Indus Valley continues to captivate those who seek answers to humanity's oldest riddles. What truly endures, however, is their silence. Unlike Egypt, whose tombs boasted of immortality, or Mesopotamia, whose kings carved their victories into stone, the Indus people left no cries of triumph, no laments of defeat. Only the stillness of their cities remains, a civilization that spoke not through monuments, but through perfection in design. Perhaps, in their silence, they left behind their greatest lesson, that true greatness lies not in the noise of empires, but in the quiet harmony of people living in balance with nature and one another. Their downfall may remind us that no matter how advanced a civilization becomes, its survival depends on respecting the fragile world that sustains it. As archaeologists continue to dig through the dust, one can't help but wonder what secrets still lie buried beneath. Maybe, one day, a single tablet, a single seal, or a single translation will shatter the silence and reveal the final truth behind the Indus Valley Civilization. Until then, the ruins whisper across millennia, their mystery untouched, their story unfinished. And somewhere, beneath the shifting sands of Sindh and Punjab, the voices of the Indus people still wait to be heard. As the winds sweep over the ancient bricks of Mohenjo-Daro, one can't help but wonder, if the Indus people could rise and fall without leaving a voice behind, what might our own civilization leave when we, too, are gone?